Now I want to talk about specificity and how to write better CSS code. You understand? So now let's assume, where's my website? Now I want to, let me remove this class from extraction. Now we have everything like this, and then I want to do something. Now I want you to see this. If you want to be that specific, because it's possible that you can have a p tag inside td, but you don't want to use class. You understand? You don't want to use class on that particular tag. You can use tag classes actually, but let's just say you don't want to use tag. I just want to select a p tag inside a particular element. Now this p tag is inside td. Now let's assume I don't have a class here, and let's assume I don't have a class here, an id, and I don't also have a class here. Now I have these three p tags inside this td element, and I have this td element inside this tr element, and I have tr inside table elements. You can select something like this. Everything is inside the table, right? So I can come to my CSS and say table. You know, I just selected this one here, and then I move to the next thing. I say td. Now I just selected what is inside this. So what this means is that table td, I didn't just select td, I just selected a td inside a table. Now but the problem we have is that we have many tables here and many td, so it's going to select all the tables and td here. So it's going to select td inside every table. So this table is not the selector. This table, you can see that when I hover on it, it's showing me that this table is the parent, while the td is what we are selecting, and the selector specificity is now 002, not like this one 001. You understand? So now the more the number, the higher the specificity. We are trying to be so specific. Now if I want to be more specific, I'll just put class here and say table selected. Now I can now come here and say table selected. Instead of this, I'll say this. Now I just selected this, only this table here, only this one at the top here. All other tables are not selected. Before I selected all the tables because all the tables has that table name, but now only this one has the table selected, this one. So now the CSS would come to my HTML and look at this only. So anything that I do will affect only this table here. So now I now selected a TD. Now there are two TDs inside this table, and this is one and this is another one here. Now you can see that this is where parent relationship will work. Now look at this thing. I have one TR here inside table. So because I have TR, now let me select TR first. So I don't need to give my TR a class to be specific because I'm already specific with the parent. No other table has this name. So this is the only table in this class. No other table has that class. So it's going to come to this table and look for the TR in this table. Now inside this TR, I have two TD. Now I don't want to select this TD here because it has my image. I want to select the second one. Because what we are trying to do is to style this P to have a red color, which is this. I am an engineer here. What's happening? Why is it having red color? Okay, I gave the P red color. So now everything is like this. Only this, I am a software engineer, is what I want to select. You may think this is a long thing, but there are places you will be using this, so you need to learn it. It's not something that it's not an alternative. It's something you will use while you are coding. You will need to use it. You cannot use class, just class and id for that particular thing. We all use it, so you need it once in a while, not every time actually. So now I just selected the tr and the td. Now there are two tds here. td element is going to select the two td because this is not the only thing. So because I have two td here, it's going to select two, but I'm going to select one that has this p tag. And how do I do that? All I would say is I will look at the children aspect. Now if you look at the tr, we have two children here, the first td and the second td. Now you have to know that what we are trying to get is the second child. So this is what you do. You say td and you put a colon and say last child, because it's the last child there. You understand? And then you come like this. So now this last child means that I'm selecting this last child. So for those people that think I'm just using the parent relationship to explain because of explaining sake, it's not because of that. It's because you use it. Imagine I just wrote last child here. So inside this last child I have a p tag, and the p tag that I want to select is this first one, and this one is the second one, and I have another one which is the third one. So I'm selecting the last td and I'm selecting the first child, which is the p. It has one, this last td has h1, the first child, p, the second child, this one the third child, and this one the last child. You might be seeing it as the second child. So how do we do that in our code? We cannot, let's remove the first child first and call it we cannot actually call it second child, but let's try it. You can see that I don't have a suggestion because there's nothing like second child and there's nothing like third child. That is why I use last child here. I cannot say fourth child here. There's only first child and last child. But there's something called nothing child, and I'll have to select which one is it, which number. So if you look at here, let's say this is the first child, 1, this is the second child, 2. So I can come here and say 2 and save it, and you can see now it's selecting the second child. But like I said, you cannot say second child. It's not possible. You can only say first or last. You understand? But you can say nth child and pick the number of the child where it is. So you can pick number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. But here we have only how many numbers? 1 child, second child, third child, and fourth child. So if I pick number 4, which is the last child. So if you know it is the last child, you don't need to pick number 4. You can pick last child. So you can see it's showing me the last child here, which is number 4. But it's better to just say last child, and it will do the same thing because it's saying this as the last child, and it's saying, and you can select which number and everything. So what I want you to get from this place is that you can be as specific as you want to be. So if I come here and say table selected and p, and let me say color green. Oh, I didn't. I gave it a. Okay, let me give this one color instead of background. So now you can see that even when I selected all the p tags, it still did not affect this one. What I did here is I selected all the p tag under table selected, table, this one, under this table. So I selected all the p tags here, but it did not affect this one. Why? Because I've been specific about it here. I said I want exactly this one. If you look at the specificity now, if I read over on it, you see 033. The specificity is too much. See, I'm so specific, and this is supposed to be 333. I mean, not this one, but the most specific is supposed to be 333. That means that one can never be, you can never override it. That's why I cannot override it here. But if I say the same thing here and say table selected p, the first one is red. When it gets here, it's going to change everything. It's going to override everything and change it to red. You understand? So you have to understand how to be specific about your selection. Even though I made everything p tag color green here and it's still p tag, it's not going to select that one because that one has a different, like, it's so specific about it. And I did not use class and ID. All I just did is I used the parent-children relationship to select it. So I'm selecting a specific child. I'm being specific. I'm not just assuming. So you need to be specific sometimes when you are writing your code. So if you do inline style for the same thing, so if I come here, this thing that I'm giving color red, if I come to the style itself and say style, and say color should be green, blue, that's a different color entirely, and I save it, you can see it has changed to blue, even with the way I'm so specific here, because inline styling is always more specific. And I gave you some guys something that the only way you can do that, you can override that one, is when you use the this important here. So it will change it back to red instead of the blue. It will override this one. But if you don't use the important method here, the keyword here, it will not override it. So you can see it's back to blue. So inline CSS is always more specific. So like I said, it is very, very important to be specific. Now this is free code camp. I don't know if anybody has ever heard of free code camp. Free code camp is where you can learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, any of those things. So all you need to do is they will give you something to work on and all of that. So like I was saying, you need to be more specific when you are writing your code, or else you have issues. So now the last thing I want to talk about is you can give an element, two classes, and an ID. So the way I gave this class a table selected, I can still give it another class called table not selected. The reason is because you may not want to tamper with this first one, but you want to use another one to do something else in this code. So you have to, so if I come here and say, let me copy it, I can't be typing this long thing. And then I come here and say table not selected, tr td last child, then p last child. And I come here and say color should be I think I've used blue before now. Okay, it's back in red. Let me say blue. Now let's see what will happen. It's going to give you blue. Now I don't want to tamper with this, but I want to do this. There are many reasons why we would do this. Number one reason is you just created the table and you gave it this, but now you felt like this is always done in JavaScript. You want to give a condition Now this is what I call a condition. Why am I closing these things? You may say that when I click on this thing, it should show me this table selected with this color, which is red. But when I don't click on it, it should show me this color. So you have to say that when I click on this is how you say it. When I click on this, show table selected, or else show table not selected. So now you can see what I mean here. So this is mostly in a programming language like JavaScript and other programming language. When we get there, you know, when we get to if else condition in JavaScript. Now this part is saying that when I click on something, show this. So it means that when I click on it, it's going to show me red. But if I don't click on it, show me this blue. So it happens a lot in code. When we get to JavaScript, you understand. Or another reason is maybe you just change your mind and you want to do something else. But instead of tampering with this first one, you leave it there and just use the second one. And maybe later in your code, you can come back to this. It's always good like that. Now, another thing is you may not even want to override what you have there. But you don't want to tamper with this table selected. I can give this table not selected the background color of blue. And it's going to have that background color of blue, and this one will still work the same way. So what I'm saying is you can have more than one table, one class in your code. There's a particular type of class we always have. The reason why I'm doing this is because you do it in Bootstrap, and Bootstrap is the next thing we are going to. So there's something called button, and there's something called button primary in Bootstrap. You see, this button is to tell you that this class is a button class, and this button primary is to change the color of the button. So primary means blue, info means something like yellow, warning means like red. No, warning is yellow. Yes, red is danger. Now these are colors that I'm doing here. It's not going to work because I don't have Bootstrap here. These are just Bootstrap stuff here. So let me delete them. What I'm just trying to explain is you can use class more than once. As many class you want, you can put it there. You can put 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you may think you don't need it until you start building a big website. That's why it's needed, is important for you to know it, that it is there. You can do it. And you can also give a class an ID at the same time. So you can give an ID just to make this unique and give it a class to style what is inside there. Honestly, the ID could be something, maybe you just want to make it a nav bar. And because you have only one nav bar in your website, so the nav bar will be one, so it will be unique. You can give that an ID and call it nav bar or something, or just nav. And nav bar is something like this kind of thing here, this blue kind of thing. This forum, donate, this one or this one. So most of the time, nav bar is always at the top, like at the top most. We see it every time in websites. So that's a nav bar. And we'll create a nav bar when we are using our Bootstrap in this in the CSS in this course rather. So I hope you guys understand everything.